things that don't seem to go together but actually go together quite well. So we've been a partner here in some capacity for a year, and in full capacity, I'll say, for about 8 months. We joined Fashion for Good, so the sustainability resource startup incubator that's luckily out of Amsterdam about a year and change ago. And then in February, we really ramped up with branded retail as well as supply chain and logistics. So our goal here is really to build out our retail tech practice. So we're a large organization. I'll talk a little bit more about who we are. But our goals really have been to think about retail tech in a more holistic way and start to think about how we can utilize retail tech in a variety of different ways and mechanisms to solve different types of problems within our organization. So who are we? We are actually quite an old company. So we were founded, like to say, off the back of a dress shirt. So we were one of the first collared dress shirt companies in the country, starting in Pennsylvania. We've since grown to be a much larger corporation, as you can see here, $22 billion in retail sales, and 38,000 employees. What that means is we own a lot of really big brands that you know. So our biggest brands are Calvin and Tommy, which we hold, own, and operate pretty much extensively globally. Some of it's licensed, but most of it is in-house. And we also own what we call heritage brands, which is a conglomerate of brands like Speedo, Izod, Van Heusen, Aero, Warner's, Olga, as well as dominance in the North American market across categories. So we own about 70% of the dress shirt and knitwear market through licensed brands and private label that you see on the floor in some of the major retailers out there. So what are we focused on? So to say that we're incredibly focused, I think is probably too early for us. So we've been in this for about 8 months. We've learned a lot. We've completely changed some of the ways in which we're operating with startups. We are very early stage in terms of how we're thinking about how to engage. That said, there's a lot of momentum and a lot of excitement from our teams to get things up and running. So our key focus areas right now are AI specific to inventory planning, forecasting, and inventory management. And we're right now live with a pilot there to try to optimize inventory allocation in one of our main retail stores. We're working on MarTech solutions, again, very broad, somewhat vague, but we're thinking through social shopping, we're thinking through geolocation, we're thinking through other solutions that really tie into some of the work we're doing around consumer data transformation and how we're trying to ramp up against consumer data and technology there. We're working on consumer omnichannel experiences. So we right now tend to really have a disparate business between channels, both digital and brick and mortar, as well as our owned and operated channels, which mostly sit in brick and mortar and outlet in North America, and wholesale, which is the majority of our business. Partners like Macy's and Kohl's and others that are a part of Plug and Play here as well. So really trying to figure out different solutions to bridge that gap and solve key problems that we have for the consumer. A new one that we added for this batch is automation of labor. When we say that, I'm not speaking about the supply chain side. I'm really speaking about on-store, or in-store rather, and consumer experience. So thinking through how do we perhaps make decisions in the back room that can be automated versus having an employee or clerk pulled off the floor to do that. We want to make sure that our employees, especially at retail, are really spent on the floor engaging with the consumer. So how can we try to automate things that are not consumer value driven? And then finally, just because it's fun, new ideas and concepts, which is a nice catch-all to just make it seem like I've thought of everything I may have forgotten. So again, very quickly, inventory planning, forecasting and demand, distribution and consumer insights. So I think as we start to dig into some of these key concepts, we've really learned what we want and what we don't want. So we started to hone in on some of these key concepts. I won't read it to you. I think this can be shared.
Sure, if you want.
So if you want to see. Sure. In terms of MarTech solutions, we talked a little bit about social commerce. Dynamic content is a big one for us that we're really trying to figure out, as well as, again, that cross-channel consumer experience. Omnichannel frictionless pay is one that we kind of started this journey on. We haven't made any movement there because I think we've realized that what we're calling mobile pay or frictionless pay is actually just consumer journey and understanding consumer intent. So as we started to dig into that, we realized that we really want to understand the consumer's intent on the floor and what are the friction points within that intent stream. So if you are there for convenience, then yes, you care about frictionless pay. But if you're there to explore, discover, have a different type of experience, that may not be what you want. So we're really now kind of, I would say, taking a step back and thinking through experience in the journey. A couple ideas behind the images and concepts, business insights and business intelligence tools, internal communication tools. We're working on some HR concepts as well. We're also working on some process and operational projects, which we think will be very interesting as we ramp up. And then again, automation of labor, we discussed. So finally, how do we operate? So we have learned very quickly that we don't want to come to the table with potential solutions we would like. We'd like to come to the table with problems we have. So we're focused on having a clear use case for a business. Again, we operate a lot of different brands' businesses. So for us to be very focused, to think through how do we potentially pilot something and test it with one brand business that is maybe a little bit smaller to scale and optimize across our organization is really key. And then we want to make sure that when we build something that it's not a custom solution for one particular brand or problem within our portfolio. We want things that are going to easily be able to be attributed across our organization. So with that, I will open it up for any questions.